Legislative Day number 6 will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of silent meditation. I will now call upon Councilman Jones, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Flank down. Flank down.
Okay. Good evening. Councilman Catch and Councilman Bevins cannot be here this evening, so is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March 2nd, 2020?
So moved. Second.
There's been a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Journal's approved. Bills 4-20, 5-20, 6-20, 7-20, 8-20, and 9-20 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, now read all bills for introduction, please.
Bill 13-20, 2019-20 Capital Budget, Stormwater Remediation Program Restoration. Bill 14-20, Current Expense Budget, General Fund, Board of Elections. Bill 15-20, Current Expense Budget, General Fund, Police Department. Bill 16-20, Current Expense Budget, General Fund, Department of Planning. Bill 17-20, General Fund, Fire Department, Current Expense Budget. Bill 18-20, Current Expense Budget, Liquor License Fund, Board of Liquor License Commissioners. Bill 19-20, Current Expense Budget, General Fund, Department of Health and Human Services. Bill 20-20, sponsored by all council members, Board of Appeals, Rules of Practice and Procedure. Bill 21-20, sponsored by Councilman Marks, Zoning Regulations, Residential Uses in BM Zones.
All right, and there are no bills tonight for final reading and vote this evening, and so we will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on March 10, 2020. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate issue. I now call upon the Secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 6.
Mr. Chair, Fiscal Matter 1 is 2 contracts for audio, visual, and video hardware services. Fiscal Matter 2 is a purchase order with Remy Corporation for staffing services. Fiscal Matter 3 is amendment number 2 to an agreement with GIPE Associates Incorporated. Fiscal Matter 4 is a contract with New Gen Strategies and Solutions LLC, comprehensive business process review of the water and sewer services. Fiscal Matter 5 is 2 contracts for on-call urban tree planting services, and Fiscal Matter 6 is a contract with Cannon Washington Incorporated for a comprehensive facilities assessment and multi-year improvement plan for BCPS.
Now, are there any questions or comments from the members on any of these fiscal matters? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 6?
So moved. Second.
Been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 6.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka? Aye. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 through 6 are approved. We will now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
First item, Mr. Chair, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than by formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the County Council and the nature and parties to that contract be announced by the Secretary at the next legislative session following award. There are 4 such contracts this evening. First is with EWT Holdings, the third corporation, doing business as Evaqua Water Technologies LLC for $39,538.93. Next is with Atlantic Valve and Equipment Incorporated, $28,062. third is with Martin's Incorporated Volunteer Recognition Luncheon, $39,288. And finally, Atlantic Tactical Incorporated in the amount of $100,715.85.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 31-20, sponsored by Councilman Marks. This is a resolution to support the designation as a Main Street, Maryland, through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development to designate Towson as such a Main Street.
And Councilman Marks?
Very briefly, as noted at the work session, the Towson Chamber of Commerce and other stakeholders have worked very hard on this resolution, along with members of the Baltimore County Department of Planning. If we are able to receive this designation, it would free up resources from the state that will help downtown Towson with maintenance, landscaping, security, and other improvements.
Okay, any questions or comments for Councilman Marks? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 31-20?
So moved.
I'll second it.
A motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 31-20.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Resolution 31-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 32-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Catch to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. James Gully, who, as a disabled veteran, is entitled to a refund under state law.
I'll move the resolution.
And I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 32-20.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 32-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 33-20 is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Jones, which authorizes the property tax refund to Marvin Carter, who, as a disabled veteran, is entitled to a refund under state law.
I'll move the resolution. Second.
Been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 33-20.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Resolution 33-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 34-20. This is a resolution supporting or authorizing the application of grants with the Maryland Transit Administration, Maryland Department of Transportation for introduction only this evening.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 35-20. This is a resolution to endorse the application of Patapsco Heritage Greenway Incorporated for a Maryland Heritage Area Authority amendments, Patapsco Valley Heritage Area boundaries for introduction only this evening.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 36-20. This is a resolution to accept a gift in connection with the State of Maryland Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services Emergency Number System Board for introduction only this evening.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 37-20. This is an emergency resolution, Mr. Chair, to approve the continuation of a state of emergency through Executive Order Number 2020-002.
And I see we have Mr. Gaskins here to testify. Good evening, Mr. Gaskins.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the council. The county executive seeks a resolution by the county council approving the continuation of the state of emergency declared by him on March 13, 2020. That was Executive Order 2020 number 2002. The Director of Emergency Management for Baltimore County and the local health officer have determined that COVID-19, a respiratory disease that spreads easily from person to person, may result in serious illness or death, is a public catastrophe and a public safety emergency. A declaration of a state of emergency and existence of a catastrophic health emergency was declared by the governor on March 5, 2020. The World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and the President of the United States have declared the COVID outbreak a public health emergency of international concern that poses an immediate danger to public safety. It appears likely to the county executive that this public safety emergency will continue to exist beyond March 20, 2020. The county executive requests, therefore, that the executive order be continued for 30 days from the effective date of this proposed resolution or until the end of the emergency, which is declared, whichever occurs first.
And questions or comments? Councilman Crandall.
Mr. Cashins, my understanding is the county executive can declare a state of emergency, which would last for 7 days. We're going to vote on the resolution tonight to extend it 30 days beyond that. And I know that, for instance, Major League Baseball said they're probably not going to even look at opening day until Memorial Day weekend, which is, 2 months. So would we be looking at another resolution to extend another 30 days, or is it 30 days, or as you said, until, can you clarify?
It would be 30 days from the effective date of this
From last week?
executive order.
Okay. So if we had to extend it beyond that 30-day period, would we have to vote on that again? Or could it just extend out until the state of emergency is declared to be over?
The council has the authority to extend it, but it would, currently, it would be the 30 days from the effective date of this resolution.
Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
if it came back, Mr. Sec, just to follow up on what Mr. Gaskin said, I think if we get to 30 days from today's date and we're still in a situation where the administration needs to have additional time, I think they would ask that a resolution then be passed and ask for additional time.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Councilman Marks?
Yeah, that's along the lines of what I was thinking as well. I mean, I think we're going to be dealing with these situations well beyond April 15th. I mean, the CDC is already talking up to 8 weeks for certain facilities. Could we just make it 45 days? I don't know. I mean, I just think in 30 days, I don't think this emergency is going to be passed.
So we could just do that as a friendly amendment?
If you would, yes, if you wish to amend the resolution from the floor.
Is that Councilman Jones?
Well, first of all, I certainly would like to commend the county executive and his
Agreed.
administration for his quick, decisive action in calling for the emergency, calling for a state of emergency and all these other steps that have been taken by all the agencies in the department or in the county. I'm curious, is from what I understand, the state of emergencies are 30 days at a time. I think, as I understand it, and I could be wrong, I believe that's the maximum we can do.
I think you're right. I think the public safety article allows up to 30 days.
Well, there
correct
are
me
two,
if I'm wrong.
yeah, well, there are two laws. One is the county, which provides for 7 days, and then there's the state law. It's Public Safety Article 14-111, which the state gives authority to local governments, and that provides for a 30-day extension. So they're sort of, inconsistent. I don't know if that's because sometime way back when someone said 7 days, and since the state law has become 30 days, but so the state says 30 days and the county code says 7 days.
Yeah, I think what we should do is just go ahead and vote on the 30 days, move it forward. 30 days later, we extend it.
Right. But with a new vote.
Right.
Right.
Mr. Gaskins is right. It's sort of an odd combination. The county executive can unilaterally impose the state of emergency for up to 7 days, and then if the county executive wants that to be extended longer than that, then he or she needs to consult with the council and have their consent to a longer period. And then the county code says, I think, something to the effect of an appropriate amount of time.
Right.
But then I think the public safety article halts that at 30 days. So I think your strategy is a good one.
Right. And the state law says if the governing body, which would be the council, agrees to a longer period, it could.
It's just checks and balances, that's all.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gaskins, can you tell us what what this resolution would mean from maybe what type of powers or what type of other details come along with this resolution?
Other than this would extend what's already in the executive order of
Are there
March.
specific powers or are there specific things under this resolution that now, say, for example, the county executive can make unilaterally if needed?
I'd have to look to see it.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Jones?
I know when we had a conversation about, and of course your spokesperson's here, but from what I understand, this will enable the county executive to, the flexibility that's necessary to, I don't want to say, it would enable him to have the flexibility necessary to take appropriate actions on behalf of the citizens without being bogged down on some of the regulations that govern our normal course of business. So everything from somebody using admin leave to him telling non-essential employees they don't have to show up, and I think all of those things are tied into the state of emergency.
Councilman Quirk, I was asked a similar question. Governor Hogan has already declared a state of emergency, so why would the county executive need to declare a state of emergency? And it caused me to do a little bit of study, I guess, on the FEMA website and some other websites. And Councilman Jones is right. It allows the county executive some flexibility to act unilaterally. I believe it also relieves the administration of some of the normal contractual requirements to bring in resources should those resources need to be brought in quickly, and we can't go through, we're not going to go through a 30-day cycle to get that contract before the council, that sort of thing. And it also positions us for, positions Baltimore County for compensation or reimbursement from the Fed should the Fed release funds to the state. And I believe that if we don't declare this state of emergency or are in a state of emergency, that we would necessarily be eligible for some of that reimbursement from the Fed. So,
Mr. Chair.
Councilman Patoka?
Yes, I would recommend that we allow the county executive all the latitude necessary that we can in this unprecedented event. This emergency is very different than other types of emergencies we've experienced, like a weather event. So, for example, if you have a large amount of snow, you can declare emergency, and there's some precedent as to how you clean that snow up and follow up on the weather event, and there's a certain time expectation related to the event, similar to a hurricane. You may know it's coming. This one, there's so many unknowns that I think it's important for us as a governing body to support the executive side and allow the county executive, who has demonstrated strong leadership, as well as the governor has demonstrated strong leadership on addressing what we do know in the anticipation of many unknowns that we have before us.
Councilman Marks?
I agree with that, and I just wanted to commend both the county executive and Governor Hogan. I think they have demonstrated exemplary leadership, and I completely agree with everything that Councilman Patoka said.
And I understand our emergency operations center is up and running. And is that Jay Ringgold as our point person on this? Is that right, Kimmy? Paul Lurs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or comments from the members before we approve this resolution? Is there any other questions or comments? Everybody good? All right, well, I'll move Resolution 37-20.
I'll second.
It's been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 37-20.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Resolution 37-20 is passed. Mr.
Thank
Secretary?
you.
Mr. Secretary, is there any further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Mr. Chair.
Well, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. And on that note, I wish everybody very safe and healthy next couple months. And as Councilman Crandall has and Councilman Marks, we all have our Purell here now. And so,
I will be taking my Purell with me.
sorry. Well, you know,
I'm
everybody,
willing to
please,
share, but you cannot have.
you know, please, everybody out there, if you're listening, all 7 of you, please be careful. Obviously, this is serious. Obviously, social distancing, I mean, we're not really social distancing right here, but it's a really small group. But this is not the time to spread this COVID to others. And so everybody just be careful. And on that note, please have a safe drive home, and we wish you all well. Thank you.